Sometimes in the journey of life, certain events occur that have no explanation. Today I will share one such terrifying experience that is bound to send chills down your spine. Hello, I'm Woodpal Ghatak, and as always, I've returned with a true ghost story. This time, the story was sent in by Rupa Chatterjee from College Street, Kolkata. I will narrate the event exactly as she wrote it. Rupa's letter. Dear Utpal Da, I'm Rupa Chatterjee from College Street, Kolkata. I'm writing to you about a real supernatural incident that happened to me on July 21st last year. I remember the date clearly because that was the day my father passed away. The experience that followed was horrifying. My home is in a remote village called Chandpur in Nadia. Since my father's passing, my mother lives there alone. I'm currently in my final year of medical studies in Kolkata. That day was a Sunday. Around 8 p.m., I was studying when I received a call from my mother. Her voice was trembling with tears. She said, "Your father is no more. He was bitten by a black cobra while trying to get the cow into the shed. Come home as soon as you can." She hung up right after. I was stunned. My eyes welled up instantly. Everything became blurry. My mind stopped working. But somehow I pulled myself together, packed a few clothes, my phone, wallet, and rushed out. I booked a bike through an app, and it soon arrived. I headed straight to Sealda railway station. There, I bought a ticket for a local train to Krishnanagar. It was announced that a train would leave from platform 5 at 9 p.m. I rushed there and boarded the train, finding a seat by the window. I thought of calling my mother, but then changed my mind. She was alone and grieving. I didn't want to disturb her. I leaned against the window and cried silently. Memories of my father kept flashing before my eyes. 2.5 hours later, I arrived at Krishnanagar. I came out of the station and tried to find any vehicle to take me to my village, but there were none. Eventually, a Toto e-rickshaw driver advised me to try the bus stand. At the bus stand, I saw several buses. One was honking, ready to leave. I approached the driver and asked where it was going. He said, "Krishnapur?" I asked, "Through Chandpur?" He nodded yes. Without delay, I boarded the bus. I noticed the bus was unusually crowded for that hour, and oddly, all the passengers were men, no women or children. It felt strange. I asked the conductor why there was so much crowd on this route at night. He laughed and said, "We came back from the Chief Minister's rally at Brigade in Kolkata. That's why there are so many people returning to Krishnapur." Ah, right. It was July 21st, the day of the annual political rally in Kolkata. I was relieved. I told the driver my story and requested if he could drop me off near Chandpur. He kindly agreed and assured me he would let me know when we reached. I sat across from him. After some time, the conductor shouted that the rear tire had punctured. The bus stopped. Many passengers got off. Some went to smoke, others to make calls. I stayed seated, crying quietly. It took about an hour to change the tire. Around 5 a.m., the bus resumed and soon reached Chandpur. I got off with my bag, turned on my phone's flashlight, and saw a woman sitting on a bench at the bus stand. She was hunched over, her face buried in her hands. I was puzzled. What was she doing here alone so late at night? I approached and asked if she needed help, but she didn't respond. I assumed she might be deaf and reached out to touch her shoulder. At that moment, she looked up. I froze. Her eyes were glowing red like fire, and her face was unnaturally pale, as if drained of blood. She gave me a chilling, silent smile and slowly stood up, staring at me with intense, hostile eyes. Terrified, I ran. The village road was dark and empty. I stumbled several times, but kept running until I was near home. Then I tripped and hit my head hard. That's the last thing I remember. When I regained consciousness, it was morning. Villagers were returning from my father's funeral when they found me lying by the roadside, near a bush. Among them was Nitai Kaku. He asked what had happened, and I recounted everything. He said, "When we asked your mother about you, she said you were arriving in the morning. Had you informed us earlier, someone would have gone to get you." Then he added, "Haven't you heard about the bus stand incident?" I asked, "What incident?" He replied, 2 weeks ago, Haru Mondol's wife died in an accident at that same bus stand. Since then, her spirit is seen wandering there every night. She hasn't harmed anyone, perhaps because you're from outside the village. She didn't recognize you and tried to scare you. He helped me up. I realized my foot was badly sprained. I limped home with his support. My mother was sitting in the courtyard crying. When she saw me, she rushed over, hugged me, and we both cried together. I asked her why she didn't wait for me to cremate my father. She sobbed and said, "People bitten by snakes must be cremated before sunrise. Otherwise it brings bad luck." If that wasn't the case, I would have waited. We hugged and cried again. I stayed on for the funeral rites. Since it was a snake bite, we completed the rituals within 4 days. Then I returned to Kolkata. Let me mention something. Many people fall sick or get a fever after witnessing something supernatural. But nothing like that happened to me. No fever, no illness. However, I can never forget that night, the red eyes, the pale face, that silent smile. So that was today's story. If you liked it, don't forget to comment and like. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do. I bring real ghost stories regularly. Today's question: what kind of snake bit Rupa's father? Was it a Chandrapora or a Chorus? Let's see who answered correctly last time. Correct answers came from Manti de Sarkar from Balagat, Mahashri Pal from Bhatanagar, Sojat Ghosh from Nagar Bazar, Ananya Bhaumik from Paschim Medinipur, Devati Biswas from Batkula, Radesham Pal from Kutak, S.K. Amarul Islam from Howrah, Sogata Dutta Roy. See you in the next story. Until then, stay well, stay safe, and take care of yourself and your loved ones.